Hi, Chantel. Welcome to Yin Yoga. We've got about 3 minutes before we start. So just making sure you have everything you need for the practice. So again, Yin Yoga is a form of yoga that is much more connected to the breath, with connective tissues, with and holding. So it is a bit more intense when it comes to stretching. It doesn't utilize the strength of muscles as much as a hatha yoga or any other form of yang yoga. Yang meaning yang is Westerners may call it. So yang yoga is much more flowing and active, utilizing muscular experiences more, whereas yin yoga, as some would say, is the more feminine yoga. It utilizes the meridians. So our connective tissue covers our entire body, and it holds the muscle to the bone. It helps to hold the muscle to the bone. And in these lines, in these meridians, they flow through and in the connective tissue. And these are the different lines of energy in our bodies. Today, the energies we're going to focus a little bit more on the heart, on opening the heart, opening up the posture. A lot of times, especially as we get older, the connective tissue begins to shrink because it begins to dry up. So Yin Yoga is excellent to free up this connective tissue, allowing synovial fluids, technically, the fluids to come in. So it creates a more juicy experience, if you don't mind the term that I use. And this allows the connective tissue to begin to open up, swell up, and allow for more freedom of movement. A lot of times this is why we start to get stuck in a position. So if you find that the heart begins to close, shoulders come forward, the back arches and stays there, it's more difficult to lift up. It's a lot of times because we don't use and move and stretch the connective tissues. So that's just a very broad, brief explanation of some of the positive things that Yin Yoga does for us. And we use props, a lot of props in Yin. So if you have blankets, bolsters, pillows, bring them and have them ready. Blocks are really good. Today we're going to try to focus on a lung heart meridian right underneath the armpit. We're going to be placing a block. And it's good to have something really sturdy under there because it is a pressure point that we're going to activate. And a block will be very helpful. If you have a very firm pillow or bolster, that is helpful and much more gentle. So you can play around with it. We'll spend a few minutes. And again, Yin Yoga leaves cold poses for at least 2 minutes, sometimes more. So sometimes we'll go as far as 5 to 7 minutes in the pose, depending on the pose. And of course, this is all up to you and how your body feels, how each side of your body feels, and adapting to it, adjust into it, and listening. The breath is incredibly important. It is the energy that flows into us, and out comes the energy that we don't need anymore. So allowing this breath to flow through every pose, every transitional pose, and every transition from each pose. So let us begin. About 5 minutes of meditation, and I will start my timer because I like to time the poses. All right. So as I said, we do time the poses, so about 2 minutes minimum. So I like to have my timer just so that I know. So I'm not reading anything or viewing anything on my iPad. I'm just checking the time. So find yourself seated on either a blanket, a bolster, block, if comfortable, and crossing the legs in easy pose, allowing the knees to drop. If uncomfortable, you can always have extra bolsters or blocks nearby. One thing to remember, again, if you haven't been to the class, is a strap. So any sort of strap, a belt, a resistance band, or a yoga strap is perfect. And you can always place a block underneath or pillow blankets. Even towels work. If you find that you need support underneath the knees, we'll be coming into bound angle later on in the practice. So it may be something that you use. So finding the sit bones comfortably on your prop, I'll call it whatever it is that you are using. Allow the knees to drop down. This opens up the hip flexor region. Usually when we sit, the knees are up higher, and therefore we contract that area and shorten the muscles. This helps to lengthen the muscles and stretch them gently. Lifting through the heart, up through the top of the head, as if I'm pulling on a string that's attached to the top of your head. Lift up. Allow the shoulders to drop away from the ears as the head rises. Arms come up, deep breath in. And allow the hands to come forward, dropping onto your lap. Into any mudra that you wish. Even meditation mudra, palm upon palm, thumbs together. And inhale. Slowly exhale. And then just breathe naturally, observing your breath, noticing its movement, noticing even the length, the difference between your inhale and your exhale. Noticing the movement of the body, the shoulders, the chest, the belly. Noticing the temperature of the air on the inhale and on the exhale. Notice the flow of the air. Focusing on the breath. Removing all of your thoughts. Directing your mind inward. Focus on your breath. Noticing that it flows effortlessly. It is primary to any pose that we practice today. It should never be held or labored. Knowing that if it is, we are to back off, adjust, modify, pose, coming to a resting position, which can be seated, which can be in Shavasana or pose, or even a child. Inhale, arms come up, reaching up, palms come together. Exhale into prayer. Focusing on the breath, maybe setting an intention for yourself or someone else, or for an idea that you wish to grasp. Knowing that it is only the mind that you can control. Anything outside is normally out of our control. It is how we react, how we focus, how we think, how we speak. Where we have control. In this practice, we will try and release that control, release the mind, releasing tension throughout the body. Inhale, arms come up, extending out, opening up the heart, pressing elbows, hands back behind you. Breathe, feel the opening of the heart, the opening of the soul, being strong, brave, courageous, and not hiding who you are. Breathe, bring the hands forward, press the heart back, stretching the back. Inhale, arms come up, and gently bring the hands down by the side. We're going to come into our heart bench. And you can find even just bolsters helps. I'm going to use a much more cushioned type of block for my spine. So there are different types of blocks. Of course, you can use your bolsters or your blankets or pillows. And you use the block. I'll put it on the lowest level. so that it supports the length of the spine. And then create a T with the one for the head. A little bit higher is usually what I like to do. And it supports the back of the head. We're coming into a bound angle. So we're going to just adjust and see where we're at. Find that position, but we're going to come right back up. So make sure that the bottom of the block starts at, say, if you're a woman, at your bra line. For gentlemen, about midway thoracic spine. So maybe the base of your shoulder blades is an appropriate position, and then it supports the spine all the way up towards the upper shoulders. Everyone's proportions are different, so adjust for yours. And then the head sits firmly on the block. There should be no tilting of the block. It should be placed firmly. The chin is slightly down, and the eyes look up. Now we're coming into a bound angle. So we're going to bring the feet together once you've found the position for your blocks. The knees splay out. This is a great hip opener. If you need supports under the knees, you can use your blankets, bolsters, blocks, anything you have to help support the knees if it feels as if there's too much tension in the groin region. Allow yourself to surrender into the blocks once you've gone into our butterfly or bound angle position with a heart bench. Lifting, opening the heart. Again, feeling the mind open, the body open. Allowing yourself to be open. Finding courage in this moment with each breath. Arms come out into a T. If it's too much for the shoulders, you can bring them down by the hips. And if you wish to intensify and stretch the shoulders, you can always bring them up a little bit higher, see how it feels. We'll be here about 4 minutes. With each breath, inhaling, feeling the heart lift. With each exhale, see about allowing anywhere you're holding, your bracing muscles, and allow your exhale to relax, be it your shoulders, be it your lower back. Exhaling tension in your inner thighs, groin. Even notice if you're holding muscles, bracing them in the face, the neck, the shoulders. Inhale, relax on the exhale your hands, your toes. Don't be afraid to move, to listen to the body and adjust, to support something that needs extra support, to cushion your back with a little bit of a blanket or a towel, to adjust the head if you need it higher, bring it higher, or lower if you need it lower. Using the breath, relaxing.
Breathing in your intention if you set one. Lick your lips. Relax the lips, the tongue. Breathe through the nose. Inhale slowly. Begin to just maybe walk the fingers up a little higher if available to the shoulders. Maybe extending them completely behind you, feeling the opening in the shoulders, under the armpit, lengthening through the lateral body, the sides, the meridians for the lung, the heart. Breathe. And remember, exhale, try and release the tension. Relax where you feel you may be holding the muscle, tensing. Extend as much as you can, lengthening the arms, bend the elbows to goddess, and slowly bring and move the elbows so that the hands come down towards the feet. Breathe, extend the arms down, reaching by the sides of your thighs, and slowly, maybe with support, using your hands, lift up one leg, then the other, reaching towards each other, bringing the knees together, feet come forward on the mat, and out to the edge of your mat, if you're using one. So they're wider than your shoulders and your hips. And just begin to release tension in the lower back with this position. Breathe. Slowly bring one knee out to the side, both knees in the same direction. And then revolve to the other side, both knees parallel. You can open them up again like a book and then close. Breathe. Inhale, both knees up. Gently press the elbows to the floor. And we're going to begin to prop ourselves up. I like to roll to one side onto my right, for example. Press the right forearm to the floor. Left arm comes around and helps to support the torso, and then gently lifting up. We're going to bring the knees around and come into a tabletop. If you have very sensitive knees, you might even add cushion. For one of our poses, I need cushion for my hips, so I can always add the cushion with a pad, a blanket, towels, whatever it is that you might have. And then slowly, we're just going to open up the spine, coming into cat and cow. First, finding your neutral spine, almost gently curving the lower back, but still finding it fairly parallel to the floor. Inhale, lengthen through the top of the head, tailbone presses back. Feel it active here. Exhale, belly button comes up, chin to chest into cat, pressing the hands into the floor, tops of your feet into the floor. Inhale to neutral, and then exhale into cow. Belly drops gently, tailbone comes up. Chin is parallel to the floor. Heart is reaching forward. Inhaling to neutral. Exhaling to cat. And really press the backbone up towards the ceiling. Feel the hands active. Back to neutral. Inhale. Exhale to cow. 2 more cycles. Use your breath as your guide. Deep breath in, coming into neutral when you're ready. And we're going to place 2 blocks in front of us. And again, this is a heart opener. This will, to some of you who've been in my class, feel like a modified praying mantis. This is going to be child's pose with blocks. So the tailbone is going to come back towards the heels, and the forearms will come forward onto the blocks. And slowly reach the heart down. Again, bring the knees in if you need to try and come into your full child's pose. Adjust anything you need to bring blocks in closer. Because the tailbone will try and reach to the heels. Again, if it doesn't, you can always, and you find there's too much pressure on the knees, you can place a blanket underneath or behind your knees to help support and lift the thighs off of the calf. You can also bring a block between the knees where your tailbone can reach to the floor. Breathing. And this can support your lower body if it won't reach, if the hips won't reach the heels. But if they do, just press back and feel the heart drop towards the floor. The forehead will drop to the floor. And then just allow the hands either drape over the blocks or just cross them. And then allow the head to drop. We'll be here for 2 minutes. You can deepen into this. You can adjust, modify anything you need to. If the forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can always place a blanket prop on the forehead so that it is supported. This is just a very gentle way of opening up through the shoulders, opening the heart, preparing for our next posture. Breathe. Breathing in, maybe your intention. Maybe just focusing on the breath. Again, always using the breath to release the tension. Finding where you are tensing or bracing. And see if you can relax in that area. As always, you can adjust and modify. Deep breath in, begin to lift the head, arms extend if they were crossed, and then slowly come forward into your tabletop. Breathe. 1 cycle of cat-cow. Inhaling, exhaling, coming up. Inhaling to neutral. Exhaling, heart forward into cow. Breathe back to neutral. And now we come into puppy dog or melting heart, some people will call it. You curl the toes under. And the hips go back ever so slightly behind the knees. The arms come forward. And this is in some ways a modified down dog. So the heart comes forward towards the floor. Maybe the head reaches or it reaches a prop. The tailbone stays up. It does the hips don't come to the heels in this one. So you might bring the hands forward slightly more in order to keep the hips from reaching the heels. And then slowly the heart presses towards the floor. Forehead again relaxes on the floor or a prop. Breathe. About 2 minutes in this pose. Focus on the breath. Allow the body to release and let go. Feel the heart dropping, opening here to the floor. Surrendering the arms to the floor, forehead relaxes into the proper floor. Your face is relaxed. You feel the intense stretch through the armpit, through the shoulders, upper arm. Use your breath to relax this area. Deep breath in. Slowly exhale, coming forward. Feel the stretch in the upper arms. This was intense. So move side to side with the torso, tabletop. Uncurl your toes. It was a slight stretch for your foot, for your back, for your arms. But you probably are feeling it mostly in the arm. And then shake out right hand, right arm. Press it back down, lift the left hand, shake it out, shake the arm out. Breathe. Open up here, breathe and come into your child's pose. Stretching back, extending. The arms can come into a full child's pose, bringing the hands back by the feet if you wish, or extending if you want to continue to stretch through the arms. And use your props again, wherever you need them, for your forehead, for your tailbone, behind the knees. Even for the ankles, you can always place a blanket under the ankles if the ankles are tight. About 2 more breaths in your child's pose. Inhale, bring the hands forward if they were back into your tabletop, and we're going to gently sit onto our right side, onto the right hip. I'm going to place a block about a third way down the mat. If you're not on a mat, just bring it so that when you come out, you can place the base of the armpit, and I mean right at the base of the armpit. For those who do have a block and a mat, you're going to put the block about a third way down the mat, and then allow the mat to completely cover it. We're adding extra cushion here. So if you don't have a mat, you can use a blanket. If you need more cushion, you can add a blanket or a towel, because we're going to be resting on it. And we are going to be finding a pressure point right underneath the arm, underneath the armpit. This hits two meridians, lung and heart meridian, and it really energizes that area. And you might feel you'll feel a sensation when you hit the right point. So your legs completely relaxed. So adjust them as you need to. I like a little cushion for my bony hips. So I add cushion under my hip. And then I find that spot right underneath the armpit, and I just allow the pressure there. So if you've been in any of my myofascial workshops, this is one position that can be done, normally not with a tennis ball, like in the workshop, because that's really intense for this area. So it's much nicer to do it with a block and a little bit of cushioning, either your mats or adding the towel. And we sit here for 2 minutes, finding that pressure point. So you can adjust the position if you come forward slightly, come back slightly. And I'll start the timer right now for 2 minutes. Breathe through any tension. See if you can relax, even the face. Relax the heart, the lungs. Feel the pressure under the armpit, onto the ribs. Then breathe. Take a deep inhale. And on your next exhale, see if you can surrender into it. Maybe you notice that sensation that I mentioned. Breathe into that area, energizing the heart, the lungs. Really pressing into this connective tissue that so many of us don't even think about. It is key. It is so important to our bodies. So important to stretch it, to move it, to oil it with movement. You must move in order to get the fluids flowing into these areas of connectivity. Really focus on your breath. Listen to the movement of the air. Especially with I have my ear covered, so it emphasizes the sound of the breath. Inhale deeply. Bring the hand down gently. The opposite hand, left hand, presses to the floor and slowly lifts you up. Lifting up gently. Bring the arms up. Just notice how it might feel. Very different type of movement. Just move the arms back and forth, up and down. We're going to do a cat and cow to just realign the spine before coming to the other side. So find your cat-cow. Find your first neutral position. Deep breath in. Exhaling into cat. Inhale to neutral. Exhale into your cow. One more cycle. Back to center. Deep breath in and to the other side. I'm going to switch my block so I can see you. I see Tabia, so I can see you. So my back isn't facing you. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So now your left side. Adding whatever cushion you may want. Adjusting. Finding that spot underneath the armpit. Feeling the block. Find that pressure point, that position where the lung and heart meridian meets. Gentle sensation here as you relax into it. Relax the head into your hand. Breathe. 2 minutes. And again, focus on the breath. Focus on relaxing whatever you may feel tension. And know and accept that each side can be very different. You may feel completely different on the side. You need to adjust a little bit more. So if you find that you're moving less these days, know that Yin is a really amazing way to open up and get the connective tissue to open and release, unstick, if you will. It literally glues together when it doesn't move, which is why the body becomes so tense. If you have a tennis ball, remember to use that along the lines, along your meridians, pressing into, even into your glutes as you sit, on your foot while you're standing, pressing along each section of your foot, even the calf muscle, putting a ball on a block and gently massaging the calf along the spine. Just remember, never directly onto bone. So always avoid like placing it directly on the vertebra. Place it 2 balls on the sides of the vertebra, slowly moving it up and down. Deep breath in, placing your right hand down on the floor now. Begin to release the left side from that block or bolster, whatever you were using. Sitting up, moving the arm forward, back, up and down, holding it. And you're going to move that block out of the way. And come into a tabletop again. And supine onto our belly, slowly coming down. Feet are about hip width apart. And the elbows will come underneath the shoulders. If you can get them right underneath the shoulders, about shoulder width apart, that would be perfect. If it's too intense, if you're feeling too much intensity in the lower back, you can always bring the elbows forward slightly and reduce that the curve that you create in Sphinx, bringing the heart up. So you can lower the heart by bringing the elbows forward and decreasing tension in your lower back. So find the position for you today. And breathe through. And what we do is we lift the heart gently, shoulder blades press back. The chin is parallel to the floor. And the eyes look forward, so your head is square, your shoulders are square to the wall in front of you. Breathe. And you should feel the hip bones pressing into the mat and allow them to surrender into the mat. Allow the glutes to relax. Allow the feet to relax. Again, if this intensifies any sensitivity in your lower back, bring the elbows forward. Right. Breathing. Spend about 2 minutes here. So again, we continue to open the heart here. Allowing ourselves to be open, to be sensitive. To show even our fragility, our insecurity, and therefore showing our courage. For this hour, we try and release and relax, even through the toes, the feet, the knees, the face. Allowing the breath to flow. Slowly bring the head down. Inhale, extend the hands forward. Bring the heart down, reaching, breathing. And we're going to come into what's called yogic sleep. And this will open up the hips and allow the heart to relax completely onto the floor. So we're going to start with the left leg being bent. Trying to create a 90-degree with the left knee. So the thigh and the calf are about 90 degrees apart. The head can relax facing the left, or if you want to add a little twist, you can see about bringing the head to the right and twisting through the cervical spine. The arms are like goalposts or goddess arms, and opening up here. If you wish to intensify this hip opener, you can always add a little cushion underneath the left knee to raise it up. And this helps to open up that hip a little bit more. Again, this is completely up to you. This is your practice. We'll spend about 2 minutes here and then we'll come back into Sphinx and switch sides. Focus on the breath. Maybe inhaling your intention. Releasing any tension. Feeling the hips surrender to the floor. Feeling the heart surrender into the mat. Deep breath in. Begin to bring your left leg back to the right. Bring the chin to the mat. Inhale, lift up into a baby cobra and then place one elbow under a shoulder, the other under the other shoulder. Maybe bring the elbows forward. Find your sphinx here for a breath or two. Breathe. Shoulders away from the ears. Heart is lifting. Shoulder blades pressing towards each other ever so gently. And relax your hips, your legs, your feet. Inhale, begin to press your hands to the floor. Bring the torso down. Right leg comes into its 90 degree. And know each side can be so different, so adjust the angle as you need to. And even increase, if you'd like, the intensity of the stretch through the groin by placing a little height, something underneath the knee. Breathe. 2 minutes. If you notice your mind wandering, come back to the breath, focusing on it. Deep breath in. Begin to bring the hands slowly under the shoulders, lifting, bringing the right leg back underneath you. Slowly coming into your baby cobra, bringing elbows forward. You can come and stay in Sphinx, or we'll come into Seal. So slowly pressing the hands into the floor, maybe engaging the legs a little here, not completely relaxing the thigh or the glutes. And we're going to press the hands into the floor, extending the arms up and away from the floor. If this is too intense for your lower back, come back into your Sphinx. Listen to the body, breathe. We're just intensifying the stretch through the front line, feeling the strength in the lower back, and lifting the heart, reaching up, breathing. You can even walk the hands closer to you to intensify it, or walking slightly away to decrease the intensity. Constantly breathing, moving through each movement. We're going to hold this for about another minute. This one will be less time. Stretching here, the hip flexors, the abdominal region. Breathing, relaxing the feet gently. Just noticing how the lower back continues to feel. If it's okay, stay here. If not, bring it down. Deep inhale, exhale, slowly bend the elbows, come back down to the mat completely. And we're going to come into a prone position, or supine position, onto our backs. Breathing as you come around. And slowly pressing the knees into your abdominal region. Stretching through the lower back. Contracting the front body, breathing, extending right leg down, holding the left leg in, feel the right calf pressing into the floor. Gently, you can extend if you wish and hold the calf muscle, or you can keep it bent about 90 degrees and slowly bring, with the aid of the right hand, the left leg over the right side and maybe dropping to the floor. If it doesn't drop to the floor, you can use a block or a prop of some sort to support the leg so it's not just hanging in the air. Again, you can even use a chair if the leg is high. Breathe. The left arm tries to reach out into a T, trying to bring your left shoulder onto the floor. So both shoulders attempt to stay onto the floor. The left hip lifts off of the floor. Breathe here. To intensify, again, you can extend the leg, holding your left leg with the hand. Your right leg is relaxed. And now breathe. And again, utilize your breath. It is a wonderful tool to relax, to release tension. And your head may even look to the left to add to the twist. The reason that we hold for so long is because it takes time for that connective tissue to release. It won't release in 10 seconds or in 30 seconds or a minute, and sometimes not even in 2 minutes, unless you've practiced a lot and you do it daily. Some research has shown that over 3 minutes is what is required to begin to release connective tissue, to allow synovial fluids to come back in, and basically juice up your outer mesh layer, your connective tissue. Deep breath in. We're going to, if your leg is extended, begin to bend. Using the right hand, help lift the left leg, reaching both hands to that left leg, press it in, extend, stretch through your hamstring, breathe. Exhale it down, pressing the left calf down, bending your right knee, and gently just bring the left hip over to the right, just a couple of inches, and then bring the right knee in, squeeze into your lower abdominals. Using your left hand on the right leg, begin to twist over the left side. You can extend the leg if this feels good to you. Right arm is out into a T, stretching out, breathing. Using a block if you need to, or some sort of support if your foot won't reach the floor. Breathe. Again, you can always bring the head to look over to the right to add to the twist so that you get a twist from the cervical spine through the thoracic and then the lumbar. Deep breath in. If your leg is extended, begin to bend that right leg. With the support of the left hand, bring it up and around. Maybe grab with the right, squeeze it in, and drop it down. Extend hands up and away from the head, heels away from the torso. Exhale, hands down by the side. Deep breath in. Shoulders reach away from the ear, so bring the fingertips towards the feet. Feel the shoulder blades gently coming together ever so slightly. Feet slightly apart, maybe even the width of the mat. And deep breath in, bring the toes, contract. Feel the glutes engage, toes come to the head. Squeeze the hands, bend the elbows. Inhale, holding here, and then exhale, release completely into your Shavasana. Come back to your breath, listen to it, not forcing it. Observing the breath. Relaxing the face, the shoulders. Even notice the ribs surrendering into the floor, the hips surrendering into the floor, the feet, the toes completely relaxed, the hands, the forearms completely relaxed.
calming the mind, keeping it focused, directed inward. Learning to find stillness. Deep inhale in through the nose. And a deep exhale out the mouth, ha sound. Releasing all that you don't need. Inhaling in your intention. Holding on to it here. Holding the breath. Hold the intention. Now exhale, ha, everything out. Feeling the abdominals, help the diaphragm, push the air out. On your next inhale, bring the knees up. Begin to wiggle your fingers, gently wiggle your head side to side. And when you're ready, coming up into a comfortable seated position. If you've come into easy pose, take a moment and switch the position of the feet. Finding acceptance even to the end of our practice. Of each side. Acceptance that each side is very different. That we are different, but that's why we were made. We have a purpose. Unique individual. That is our strength. Inhale, arms come up, reaching up, palms together, into prayer. I thank you for coming today, practicing, having the courage to open up. Not just on the mat, but maybe for the rest of this day, as you proceed on. That light within you, I hope that you can share it. I see and honor that light. Namaste. Thank you. Hopefully you had a good stretch.
Yep, that was nice. Thank you.
You're welcome, Padilla. I'm glad you're here. That was all heart meridian.
Okay.
That was all heart today.
Yeah.
So
I have a question.
So things to think about. You know, working on that connective tissue, using your tennis ball if you have one.
Okay.
So remember to have that and think about it. Even just starting with